Squared Architecture. We're responsible for building Detroit Shipping Company. Are you familiar with Detroit Shipping Company? So we built that. We are approved for 143 unit in North Corktown, right behind our model center. So we just had a meeting with the city today, so that's yay. Thank you, thank you. 21 years in the Navy. Got into real estate probably maybe 7 to 8 years ago. Been with Asia the whole time. We've been learning from each other and going through the city and finding out spots where our folks can actually make some money, and the spots that are developing and where the city is going to be putting a lot of money into, which is the Joe Louis Greenway. And if you're an investor, if you're a developer, make sure you get with us afterwards so we can, well, you're going to do the walkthrough with us, hopefully. And then once you do the walkthrough, you'll see what we're talking about. And thank you so much for coming out. If you have any questions at the end, let us know, and we'll answer any of your questions. But we are an architectural firm, so if you need blueprints, you need any architectural done, as far as from commercial to actual commercial to traditional build, modular, we do it all. Fabrication, we do it all. So get with me later. But thank you again for coming out, and I'm passing it over to the experts.
Hey everyone, my name is Dan Stefanski. I work for the City Planning Department. I'm more on the real estate side of the Greenway, so all the land negotiations to acquire the land for the Greenway, as well as a lot of the neighborhood planning work, so how we can help use the investment of the Greenway to spur more investment in the neighborhood surrounding it. I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves here as well.
Hey everyone, Idris Muhtar. I work for the City of Detroit General Services Department, so I'm the Deputy Chief Greenway Planner. GSD is responsible for planning and building the Greenway, so we're the ones doing the planning work and the construction, so getting the project built. And so I'll be able to answer your questions about that. And I'll pass it to Liana.
All right, good evening everybody. How y'all doing? All right, if you love Detroit, say what up, Doe. All right. So my name's Liana Medley. I'm the Executive Director of the Joe Louis Greenway Partnership. The partnership is a nonprofit. We are the convening, coordinating, and collaborating nonprofit that support all 4 cities that the Greenway touches. So Dearborn, Detroit, Highland Park, and Hamtramck. We convene with similar organizations and municipalities in all 4 of those cities. So real quick, I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna let Dan and Idris talk about the real estate piece, but I want to just share a couple things. So where you are sitting this is the first time we have actually activated this space. It's still under construction. We haven't done a ribbon cutting. And this is the Joy and Alpine Market. We partner with the city of Detroit to take a vacant piece of city-owned property and figure out how we can activate it, whether it's for the short term or long term. And what we knew is that residents wanted something that they can activate in a retail space along the Greenway. So this Joy Road Marketplace will be open for events like this and for vendors. We are looking for a vendor to operate in the market in partnership and collaboration with our programming. So please check us out. You can email us if you know anyone who is selling juices, shirts, earrings, coffee, whatever it might be. We're willing to have conversations with just about anybody. But we want it to be local Detroit-based businesses that are willing to program and activate here along the Greenway. Really quick, I want to shout out some of our businesses. So we do have Boutique that has provided the mocktails. So if you have not gotten one, please step around and get one. We have R&B Charcuterie that did the charcuterie cups. And we also have Foster's Barbecue. So please come over. Everything else was free, but please spend a couple dollars in the neighborhood before you go at Foster's Barbecue. So I'm going to give it back to Dan, and then y'all are going to do y'all walkthrough.
So if I could just get a quick show of hands, whose first time is it on the Greenway? I mean, has anyone been here before? Okay, so we've got a good number of people who this is their first time on the path itself. So for those of you who don't know, the Joe Louis Greenway is a 29-mile bike and pedestrian trail that the city of Detroit is planning to connect 23 neighborhoods, 4 cities, and a connection into the Gordie Howe International Bridge to Windsor. The vision for the project actually started as a resident-led vision. It was called the Inner Circle Greenway. Back in like 2006 is where the idea originated. And the idea was to take this 8-mile abandoned rail corridor and connect it to the Riverwalk and DeQuinder Cut. Some great public spaces in the city's core, and to create this unified loop around the city of Detroit. So in 2019, the city was able to acquire that abandoned 8-mile railroad, and that kicked off the process of the Joe Louis Greenway Framework Plan. So you'll see on the table here there's 2 thick books, and those are basically the outcome of 2 years of community engagement that started in 2019 and wrapped up and was published in 2021. And the city of Detroit did 45 public meetings where we basically settled on what the route of the Greenway would be, what the design standards would be for the Greenway, what it should look like and feel like, and then what the overall goals of the project would be. So set the vision for the project right at the beginning. The 3 goals that came out of that framework are that the Greenway would connect people and places, promote equity and equality, and improve quality of life for Detroiters. And you can find that plan actually on the City of Detroit website. So if you look up Joe Louis Greenway Framework, you'll be able to find the link to all 3 books. It's the 2 books, the vision, the design standards, and then the appendices. So that set the vision for the project. And since then, we've been doing the work to actually get the project implemented. So I work on the planning side. So we do a lot of community engagement. We do grant writing. We do fundraising work. And since the plan was published, we've raised $220 million to build the path. The vast majority of that being state ARPA dollars. So ARPA dollars from the MDNR, about $60 million, $40 million from the state and MEDC funds, $20 million from Wayne County for the section in Highland Park, and then a collection of other grants and local sources. So there are federal dollars from FHWA, as well as city dollars as well. So we've done a lot of work. About 22 miles of the full 30-mile vision is funded. And there's about 7 miles left that is really my work on a day-to-day basis, figuring out what those segments should look like, how we get them funded, and how we get them built. So that's some background on the Greenway and where we are today. I'll pass it to Dan to talk about the work they're doing at the planning department and the neighborhood planning study.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think, what Idris really touched on was the importance of this being a project that was really birthed out of resident input, and the community engagement was part of the process from the day one. So when they published this plan for the framework plan, deciding where the Greenway was going to go, what it was going to look like, at the planning department, we were excited about seeing this investment. It was going to touch 23 different neighborhoods, but we wanted to make sure that this investment, this $220 to $300 million investment, was going to be leveraged to support the actual neighborhoods that were touching it. So again, it's 23 different neighborhoods that it's touching the Greenway. Goes to Dearborn at the West Warren Gateway, goes through Highland Park and Hamtramck. So there's a lot of people that the Greenway is going to be in their neighborhood, and we wanted to make sure that as the Greenway gets developed, that investment is happening alongside other support mechanisms we can work with at the city to make sure that people can stay in place and that they have more opportunities for new funding, we can create jobs, expand businesses and all that. So around that same time in 2022, we started what we called the Joe Louis Greenway Neighborhood Planning Study. And the idea was, we've already done a lot of planning on the actual Greenway itself. The Neighborhood Planning Study was specifically looking at the half mile within the Greenway. We've got a copy of the executive summary here, and we've got QR codes so folks can download. All of this is online, PDF accessible. But really what our approach was to spend another 2 years doing engagement, meeting with folks on the ground in these 23 different neighborhoods, and understanding what their concerns were, what their priorities were, what they wanted the Greenway to look like, and how we could sort of deploy resources at the city and make sure that we have a plan going forward so that people can stay in place. I think the one thing I also want to stress is that I think one of the biggest concerns we heard when the Greenway was starting was, how are you going to make sure that people aren't going to be displaced by this significant level of investment? I think people have heard about the Greenway projects in other areas of the country, like in Atlanta, and there's concerns that maybe that investment can spur rampant investment and that might have concerns for displacement. And so one of the really important things that we spent a lot of time in is doing a housing market study and really focusing on resources and strategies that we can use to preserve access to affordable housing going forward. So part of that's going to be new development. So folks here who work in real estate development, we'd love to have you guys part of that conversation. It's also going to look like helping folks stay in their place with repair grants, getting the roof repaired, working with expanding, homeownership sales through the land bank, working with folks who maybe need help with their title because they want to pass the property along to their heirs and things like that. So I think I just want to stress that that's a really big important part of the Greenway planning work, is making sure that people feel like this is a place where they can stay and that they can build and grow with their families. The other thing I'd say is there's a lot of detail in the neighborhood planning study. The main things we looked at is, again, this housing affordability piece. We also looked at expanding entrepreneurship and small businesses. How do we actually promote job creation and work with industry to sort of complement the areas around the Greenway rather than taking away from the design of it. Looking at beautification and open space. So this is a great example of some of the areas where we've actually, planted a trailhead with meadows and things like this. There's a lot of other areas around the Greenway where we plan to do park expansions and more open space. And then the last piece is looking at mobility. So, 20 to 30% of Detroiters don't have access to a car. They use a bus, they use a bike, they get around in a lot of different ways. So we're looking at this investment of the Greenway as a great stepping stone to allow people to better connect to Eastern Market, downtown, other communities, other commercial corridors, and looking at the Greenway as a stepping stone to sort of expand more mobility options for people around the city. So using MoGo or scooters or walking or biking or whatever. So again, the QR code is up here. We'll have these postcards afterwards. So folks, I encourage you to scan it. We can send out all the links afterwards. You can download all those PDFs. These books are up here for you guys to take a look at. Fortunately, we do have to hold on to them because they're just our display copies, but I do encourage you to take a look. Liana, do you want to talk a little bit about?
I think I said my piece. So, but the only thing I'll say is, as a nonprofit, we serving all the cities. We see the same thing in each of the cities, a concern for how development will happen. And what's important is that residents and individuals who want to do responsible development are convening like this to support inclusive projects in the neighborhood. And so it's a great thing that we always have Idris and individuals like Dan, Michelle Flournoy, other folks from the planning department to help remove obstacles, to address issues. So I'll tell you about this project. So the city of Detroit, for this Joy and Alpine Market, got $100,000 from the Project for Public Spaces to do this. We had $50,000, so we put that money together. And what the city wanted to do was to see what types of obstacles would residents experience if they wanted to do similar projects. So it was an opportunity for the city to test itself, to see what did the permitting process look like, what did the communication, how did you develop the land, how did you find contractors to do the work, the purchasing of the shipping container and the need to clad a container and paint it and do all of these things, to bring in solar power with D2, and then to be able to turn it into an active market. And I don't know if I said this, but this is the first time that we're activating this space and testing it, so if the power go out, I don't know what to tell y'all. But the purpose is for us to figure out how we continue to do these projects, and the Bloom team has already said, well, we want to do this. And we want to be able to share this information so that others can do it. There are people who own vacant land, and there are commercial corridors like this, like Joy Road, all around the city that need some retail. I'm sure you noticed when you drove here, you drove down Livernois without a grocery store. You hit Joy Road, maybe you hit Tireman, maybe you hit Warren. And this is a neighborhood that's very densely populated, but that deserves the amenities and the quality of life assets that good, healthy, thriving neighborhoods should have, and it should not matter about your zip code. And so our purpose, although what we primarily do is we support all the cities, we program and activate the Greenway, we support with the maintenance of the Greenway, we support with fundraising, whether it may be letters of support, and then we are there to partner with the cities to convene, but it's also important that we're engaging with residents. So that's my piece. I'm glad y'all enjoying the furniture. We just put that in. That was something special for us to put in. But we want to make sure that y'all get out and see the neighborhood and understand that 3 years ago when I started this job and started this position, this neighborhood was in a worse position. But we're starting to see investment because residents are seeing a city that cares about their neighborhood, that's investing in their neighborhood, that's cleaning up behind their home. I want you to understand, and if they didn't say it, I'm gonna say it, this was a rail line with 30,000 dumped tires, with contaminated soil and debris. So you can't live in a healthy neighborhood if in your backyard is a pile of trash that's as tall as your house. So the city of Detroit and other cities have gone through the process of cleaning up neighborhoods, and this Greenway is just one way that we made it happen. And now we want to make sure that people have an option to stay in their neighborhood, have an option to benefit from the economic mobility that this project is going to bring to their neighborhood, and then live a good quality of life. So I think I'm gonna pass it back to Asia.
Thank y'all. All right, so if y'all see any vacant lots in the city of Detroit, I need y'all to write this down. It's a website called Detroit City Parcel Viewer. It's a free site. So if you put in this address right here, you'll be able to see who owns everything over here. So if you see something that's owned by the land bank or the city of Detroit, that'll help you in the upcoming tax auction, so you'll know where to bid. Y'all follow what I'm saying? All right, cool. Y'all got any questions? Oh, Detroit City Parcel Viewer. It's a free website. You type in any address in the city of Detroit, it's gonna tell you everything about that lot. The size of it, how big it is, 30 by 100 or 40 by whatever. The typical lot in Detroit is like between 28 and 35 by however long it is to the alley. So the houses over there like Dexter, Linwood, Davidson, you know, them across the front might be like 40 or 50, but that house might go all the way to the alley, and that's probably like a 40 by 150 or more. But on Parcel Viewer website, it'll tell you the square footage, the acreage, the owner, their address, so if it's something you want to purchase, stuff like that. So that's a little free info. What else? Go ahead.
Also, this is a NEZ zone. Does everybody know what that means? Neighborhood Enterprise Zone, which will give you tax abatements if you purchase land over here. Whether it's commercial, you get like a 15-year tax abatement if you build. And if you go on the website, if you go on the NEZ website, then it'll show you it'll give you a little map of every neighborhood that's in the NEZ zone. This could be the NEZ zone, but across the street it may not be. So just make sure that you check out that the NEZ zone map, and that'll save you a lot of money on your taxes. Our partner just got here. She don't want to speak though. Go ahead.
What up, though, Detroit? Okay, I said, what up, though, Detroit? My name is Jacob Rose, and I'm part of the Bloom organization. Myself, as well as my partner, Reese Hall, wanted to say thank you for all being here. We're honored to be a part of this event to discuss about the Joe Louis Greenway partnership, as well as investing along the Greenway. We would like to thank Lady Contractor, Miss Age Edition right here, for exposing us to the Greenway. If you don't know, in my personal trade, I'm an accountant. So guess who was doing all the audit work for the city, for the land bank, for the different departments in the city? Myself. So when Miss Asia told us about this event, and I was doing my research, I said, oh, this is gonna be big. And I have toured the Atlanta BeltLine, and I have seen what these projects have done nationally. We also would like to thank the Joe Louis Greenway partner for coming out and supporting this event. The Greenway is one of Detroit's most important opportunities, not only because it connects neighborhoods, parks, and people, but because it gives us a chance to think intentionally about what kind of development, investment, and community life we want to build around it. At Bloom, our mission is simple. We want to transform vacant land into welcoming green spaces. This will foster connection, learning, creativity, and community pride across Detroit. We believe every neighborhood deserves visible, accessible places where children can play, neighbors can gather, residents can learn, and communities can grow stronger together. The Joe Louis Greenway is a powerful connector across Detroit neighborhoods, but infrastructure alone does not create community. This is where Bloom comes in. We activate the land adjacent to the Greenway and help turn them into spaces into community hubs, places for youth to engage, education, local collaboration, food access, creativity, and belonging. Tonight, we are speaking to investors, homeowners, developers, business owners, and community members, as well as other stakeholders. Our message is this: investment alone along the Greenway should not only be about property values, it should also be about people, places, and long-term neighborhood strength. The best investment is one that helps residents feel seen, connected, and proud of what is being built around them. So what do we need from you? We need volunteers. We need partners. We need people willing to share our mission, support projects, donate, help activate spaces, and bring programming, resources, and ideas to the table. We need investors and developers who understand that community spaces are not extra. They are essential infrastructure for strong neighborhoods. If you are investing along the Joe Louis Greenway, we invite you to invest with community in mind. If you are a resident, we invite you to help shape these spaces. If you are a business or organization, we invite you to partner with us. And if simply believe Detroit neighborhood deserves safe, inspiring, welcome places to gather and grow, we invite you to be a part of Bloom. Together, we can make the Joe Louis Greenway more than a pathway. We can make it a living network of life. Let's bloom together, Detroit.
And y'all, I just want to also end off on, so my name is Reese Hall. By trade, I'm an IT professional, manage different IT operations for different advertising platforms around the city. So even setting up little air environments like this with the solar power, everything that went into planning that is very intentional and very critical for these type of things to actually flourish long term. So as we're building out some of these for ourselves, we're going to be taking you along the journey, documenting the whole process. Even our cameras over here set up, again, showing the blueprint of how this can actually be done at scale. So we invite you along to the journey. I'm probably sick of QR codes at this point, but we have QR codes at our table. You can check in, keep track of what we got going on programming-wise. Partner Motown Trailblazers doing an amazing job of taking people all around the Greenway, full 29 miles, or just about, because not all of it's fully done yet. Again, just giving people the opportunity to get out the house, get active, get to doing something. We're also thank our partners at BMR and BGR for, again, just hosting those running events at Grand River Trailhead, excuse me. But again, all in all, appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate you guys showing the support for something so pivotal in our environment. And let's keep it going. Let's boom.
And thank you all for coming. One last thing. If you want to tour our lots is going north, going towards Green River and Oakman, going off of Green Line. And our lots is right there. And if you're trying to get a depiction of what we're trying to build out, if you've ever been to the congregation in Boston Edison District, that's the same thing we're trying to build out. Thank you all.
All right, y'all got any questions for me or anybody? Y'all ain't got no questions? Wait, not one?
Well, hi everyone, my name is Ada. I'm a notary, Help Me Notary, LLC. But my question is, with other cities like Atlanta and Memphis, majority black cities that have undergone similar changes recently, is there anything from their blueprint that you've taken into perspective for Detroit to do or definitely not to do?
Yeah, that's a really important question. And I think one of the things I'll say is when we do these planning studies, we want to work with people who've done projects like these before. So we had a number of different consultants. One of them was a housing consultant from Atlanta, Noel Housing. They were working on projects and housing projects in Atlanta. They were the ones who conducted our market study for the Joe Louis Greenway neighborhood planning study. And the idea was we conducted this market study at the beginning of the planning study to understand where specifically these 23 different neighborhoods were at, so we could tailor very specific recommendations for each of them as they go forward, as a not being a one-size-fits-all. So a lot of the detail is in the plan where we talk about all these different ways we can preserve affordability with housing. One of the ways we can do is promoting home ownership. So if you already own a home, how can we get you access to grants and repair loans so you can help rehab your place, stay there? The other thing is educating people in terms of tax abatements or understanding more about how they can escrow their taxes or they can pass their property on to their heirs. So I think keeping people in place was really important. Also lowering the barrier to entry for home ownership. So people who want to buy properties from the land bank and rehab them around the Greenway, there's opportunities to do that. And then the other piece of it is when we looked at other cities like Atlanta, I think one of the biggest challenges they faced is that there was a scarcity of sites for them to preserve for affordable housing. So when the investment went up, there wasn't areas where the city could intentionally preserve areas for affordable housing. So that's one of the main things we did as a part of the planning study was identifying certain assemblages around the Greenway to make sure that as investment comes, we can plan intentionally ahead of time to make sure that there's going to be secure, affordable housing options for folks in those neighborhoods. So hopefully that speaks to your question a bit.
Is there a representative here from the land bank?
No, but they did do an event with us back in April. I don't know if their contact information might be in the resource guide I left up there, but it might, yeah, they got a QR code on the back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, and that, you gonna meet me halfway?
Hello everyone, I'm Dora. My company is known as Building with Amora, and I'm starting affordable luxury living in Detroit. I actually grew up in this neighborhood.
And my mentor Thomas recommended me from Grand River. So I'm here to find resources to get help with rehabilitation for the property.
As far as like the whole, like how to rehab or materials or what?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Well, Real Estate Fridays in September will be specifically on rehabbing. The one in August is going to be on the auction. So, like, you got to ask me a direct question so I can answer, because I'll be here all day talking about how to rehab.
Well, where do I start? Because I applied to a grant every day for like the last year and I haven't gotten it. And the home is dear to me because it's been in my generation, my family for 3 generations. So I just would like to know where to start.
Okay, that's awesome. So, shout out to y'all for not selling it. Y'all own it right. That's a hand clap. Do y'all own it free and clear? Y'all got no liens, no nothing on it?
Yes, I have 2 properties that I'm working on at the moment.
All right, so I wouldn't take no money out so that'll keep, y'all ain't got to worry about no mortgage payment. Because my philosophy is always, you don't want to get too overhead to where if you had to go work a little BS job, you still couldn't make it. So you ain't like overwhelmed. But if you have a nonprofit, I think you can get either tax write-off or donated materials from like Home Depot and stuff. I personally don't know how to do that. I just heard of people doing it. Trying to see who else you could talk to. You could probably talk to some of these construction schools, because a lot of the people who attend school, they do need true hands-on experience, and maybe you can partner with them and get free work. Now, how the work gonna look, because they learning, I don't know. But at least it'll be done. What's another thing? If your credit good, you can do credit cards, get some cards with 0% interest and pull the money off and do balance transfers and get the money that way. But once your 0% interest time is up, it's gonna jump back to whatever that APR at from the beginning of your total balance that was left. But that's what I've done. This will be the first year I've ever taken out a loan. I've always used credit cards. The only thing is once you max them out, your personal score is gonna drop. But you can also do the same with business credit. And I think that's all I got.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, they do have women-owned grants too, so you might have to find those. And it's an AI software. I seen the ad, but I can't remember the name. If you a non-profit, you pay like $400 or $500 a month, and it apply for grants for you like 24/7. So like you don't have to do nothing. But I can't. If I remember the name, I'll post it because I just seen the ad the other day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any more questions?
How many veterans I got out there? Benefits, good on your benefits. I know you good on your benefits. How many people out here do we have that have family members, close, brother, sister, mother, father, that are still with us that are veterans? Any hands? I'm gonna tell you right now, that the veterans, we can build up to a fourplex, right? We can build up to a fourplex, and it's a one-time new construction loan. So what I'm saying that to you is because if you're a family member, you can buy a piece of land, right? You can buy a lot, you can buy 2 or 3 lots. And if you get your family member to apply for that one-time construction loan, you can build that. You can use their VA loan, no money down, no PMI. You can build up to a fourplex. After you live in it, or after it's acquired for a year, then you can sell the whole fourplex and do it again. So it's just a wash, rinse, and repeat. So talk to your family members if they are veterans, and either get with myself, this gentleman here, I think he knows about it too, but get with us and we'll give you the path to building fourplexes or single family home, it doesn't matter. But there's so many veterans out there that are not using this benefit, and family members that are not using this benefit, and they think because you're not a veteran that you can't use it. Partner with your family member to get a fourplex built. It has to be the primary resident for 1 year. And what I say, air quotes, you have to live in it for a year. And then after that year, you can either, now you're living in one and you're collecting the rent on the other one. After that 1 year, you sell the whole thing and do it all over again. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is LaShawn, and I just had a question. Hello, my name is LaShawn, and I just had a question in regards to the veteran benefit. Do they need to have their DD2? Is it 215?
214. DD 214.
They need to have that when they go to present to the lender or inquire about.
No, it's a veteran benefits letter. All they're going to need is their veterans benefit letter, and you can get that through va.gov or vabenefits.gov. And once they get that veteran benefit letter, that's all they're going to need to take to the realtor. That's it. And as long as their credit's good, I mean, it's actually a 540. That's really all you need for the VA loan.
Can you just reiterate, you said it's the veteran benefit letter?
I'm sorry?
You said it's the veteran benefit letter?
Yes. So what that letter does, it says what percentage of, where first of all, they're veterans and they're eligible for to use the VA loan or their benefits period. So it's just one generic letter that says 100% disabled veteran, how much they get a month, and so on and so forth.
So they have to have a disability or...
They don't have to have a disability.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Yeah.
One more thing with the VA. So I don't know if y'all know you can rent to veterans. They have their own housing for veterans, disabled or not. And the VA pays the same way as the Section 8 chart. So, but it's called HUD VASH. That's their version of Section 8, but they pay the exact same way. So a 3-bedroom in Detroit right now, like $1,737, and that could go up or down depending on the neighborhood and how you renovate the property. So the higher end you do, the more you will get. If you have appliances in there, that's more money. Central air. So right now I'm getting like $1,950 per property on the east side because of how I did my rehab, and then I put central air in there. So of course I went up on the rent, but they not gonna never move because central air in Detroit is a luxury item, so they not moving. So just FYI.
2 beds. You put 2 beds per room, $800 per bed. So if you got a 3-bedroom, 246, $800 a pop. It's just a money maker, and you're helping veterans. That's what it's all about. But you're helping veterans. So 2 bedrooms, and some veterans they want their own room. And then we also do returning citizens. A lot of veterans have, just because they committed a crime, they served their time, but they're coming back home. So when they go to prison or whatever lockup they are, their benefits stop. But as soon as they get out, the benefits restart. And a lot of the people that we house are 60, 62, 63 years old, so they get their veteran benefits back and they get their Social Security and they get HUD VASH. So you never have to worry about your rent being covered.
HUD VASH?
HUD VASH. HUDVASH. HUD VASH.
Thank you. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like a 2-part. One is for the city and one is for Asia. So for the city, I had a question about the home improvement grants. I only ever see like for senior citizens. Is there anything for just working class people of any age?
Yeah, the Housing Revitalization Department, HRD, has a number of different programs. I think they have a 0% home repair loan that I don't know that you need to be a certain age to meet it. There's other select repair grants that they have on their website. I'll see if I can pull it up and get you a link before you go. I'd also just say I think that's one of the areas that we wanted to try to improve going forward when you're doing the planning study is maybe there aren't grants that exist that people can access now with some of these specific things they're looking for, but what can we do to fundraise for that and develop those programs going forward? So I think it's a great question. I'll try to connect with you and get you a link to some of those grants that are out there for now.
Perfect, thank you. And Asia, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I am a beginning developer, so my lender is requiring that I have a builder with experience, 5 to 7 properties that they built from the ground up. So
I'm just doing you like the 15th person. I done posted that house one time and people like, Asia, take my money. I'm like, okay, this is my very first new construction project.
No. I'm asking, do you know somebody?
Oh, do I know somebody?
In Detroit that's licensed in Michigan.
I don't know, is somebody out here? I don't know. I could find out, I could ask around, but then it depends on how busy they are. You probably can just Google some.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think. It might be, you know where you can probably find some on the city website, because sometimes some cities have like a list of preferred contractors, so maybe you could try that out. I'm sorry. Any more questions? What am I doing? Oh, she is back there. Hold on. Thank you. You look so confident.
I had a question. Good. My name is Don. But just like looking at this map, like you an investor.
Mic
like,
to your face, please.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So like just looking as an investor, like on this, are you trying to get into where it's in progress, or trying to look for like the plan to use looking to try to buy some property like on this
Along the Greenway?
Yeah.
So me personally, we're buying within a 2-mile radius. So if you Google the Joe Louis Greenway website, right, they got an interactive map. And you can print it out and literally just go drive it so you can see it. And so just
remember, I gave you the planning study one that does all the work for you anyway.
Boom, there you go. So that's a QR code up here you got to scan and it do it for you, but you can just do a 2-mile radius too. And yeah, just buy that way. But if you can't afford the house, just buy a lot. You know, our lot's not that expensive here. And then with the auction coming up, that's how Bloom got started. They listened to what I said on Instagram and they went to the auction and bought their lots. So some of the lots was like $500-600. I think the most I've seen was like $2,000. And then with the county auction, you can also use your credit card. So.
Good evening, Lauren. Dunn. Hi. Thank you for hosting this, Asia, Deshaun, Joe Louis Greenway. Just a question about the website. I know you mentioned that it's interactive. Is there an activation schedule or a rollout schedule for the different portions that will be activated consecutively or at the same time? Just curious. Thank you.
When you say activation, do you mean the construction? Like
Right.
when it will be built?
Right.
So it really does depend on funding. So with our first big sort of bucket of funds that we received, we focused construction on the 8-mile rail corridor. So we started at the Warren Gateway, and you know, we've pretty much been moving north and then east. So those are the segments we're pretty much planning, except for one segment that's federally funded near I-75. We expect that full corridor to be complete by the end of this year. So that's one area. Really, it does depend on just the source of the funds and the timeline for spending those funds. So we've been just working strategically to apply for grants in different areas and get it built as the opportunity arises. So the areas with the most work are really in Southwest Detroit, where we still have more community engagement to do, design work to do, and then pursuing federal, state, local funds to get those projects built.
And that's just the city of Detroit. So Hamtramck is working on their segment. Dearborn is working on their segment. And then I'm sure by now you all have been up and down Woodward and have seen the Joe Louis Greenway Bridge north of Davison, south of 6 Mile. So that's also city of Detroit. So the Joe Louis Greenway coming to that area. Before we take any more questions, since we have developers here, and I didn't even know he was rolling through, I want to bring up DeJuan Dandridge, the CEO of Black Leaders Detroit, to talk about their developer fund.
Thanks, Leona. Good evening, and what up, Doe? So, Black Leaders Detroit is a nonprofit that exists to support black entrepreneurs in the city of Detroit. What we do is we service the nonprofit and for-profit sectors. We do that primarily through grants and no-interest loans. We provide grants and no-interest loans to black entrepreneurs in the city. We've deployed over $7 million. We're approaching $8 million in the next couple of months. And what Leona invited me up to share with you all is that we have something that we call a building fund. That's a no-interest loan. It caps at $150,000. We deployed $1.8 million in the first round. We just approved another $820-something thousand for round 2. We're going to open up applications early 2027 because we are, depleting the funds. So I got to get out and raise some more money. But we invite you all to follow us. We always give a good heads up on social media. So we're BL Detroit or Black Leaders Detroit on Facebook, Instagram. You can find our website at blackleadersdetroit.org. And yeah, we want to be available to y'all. If y'all buying property, especially if you got buying property that is not your primary residence. So this is for investors only. It's not if it's for your house, but if you buy investment property in the area, like that no interest loan is something that you definitely want to be aware of. There are some conditions, of course, right? But you can find out all of that on our website at blackleadersdetroit.org. Thanks. Thank you. So I didn't know if I'd be jacking the show, but is there anybody out there that just believe in fairness and want to help create fairness for black folk? I'm making note of, I'm more like curious about the people that don't. But anyway, you know what I'm saying, that's them. I ain't tripping, you know what I'm saying? So we raised a lot of money in philanthropy. Some of the foundations that locally have made large donations to the work that we do. But our long-term approach is not to depend so heavily on them, more depend on us, right? Because this is something that was created for us, and we're hoping that it'll be sustained by us. And any and everybody that believes in fairness. The truth be told, you know, I get a much bigger response and more unanimous response in some audience that don't have some of us in it, right? And they're quick to donate. But our approach to long-term sustainability is we ask people that believe in fairness to donate $1 a week. Without $1 a week commitment, our goal is to get to 1 million people making that commitment. So that way, we're not worried about if anybody else puts money in the pot or not, right? Because if we can raise $52 million a year, and I believe we can, then we'll be able to support the initiatives that have been drastically underfunded, and we'll stop having to do so much with so little. So we invite you all to become new members, especially those that believe in fairness, to join us on this journey. And you can do that again at blackleadsdetroit.org. It's super simple. You can sign up in 2 minutes. Thank y'all.
Any other questions? You ready?
All right, well, thank y'all for coming. Make sure y'all get out and explore the actual Greenway, walk it so y'all can see, take pictures and stuff. If you got the map from the QR code, you can kind of pinpoint where you at. Make sure y'all write down any addresses you see around what you like, and then go to City Parcel Viewer to pull up the lot so you can see who owns what. If the city own it, buy it at the auction. If the land bank own it, then you got to present your plan, showing how you want to develop. Make sure you include the community, and then, you know, submit your bid that way. Make sure y'all support our vendors. Foster Barbecue, MJ's Ice Cream is somewhere over here. And thank y'all again for coming. Make sure y'all come scan the QR code. And thank you too to the city.